I will continue to purchase these fragrances until they go away forever, until they stop making them. I don't know when that'll be. I don't know if it'll ever happen for some of these, but there's a very good chance. So whether I'm finishing off a bottle and I go ahead and buy a new one, or I decide to pick up some backup bottles along the way, this will definitely be a consideration. Because this is definitely something that is a tough pill to swallow for a lot of people, but we're in flanker central right now. And in order for brands to continue to produce new, they have to get rid of the old at some point in time. Even if it's your favorite signature scent that you've worn for 10 years or longer and you've made so many great memories with it, they don't care. If it's time for that one to go because it's not selling anymore and they have the next new hot thing they want to put out, then they'll do whatever it takes. I think some of these are more inclined to get discontinued than others, and I'll kind of provide my input on that as we go through. But regardless of that, these are ones I want to have around forever until I'm done collecting, which hopefully will be a very long time from now. But the first one is John Varvatos XX Artisan, a really, really good release from John Varvatos in a world where a lot of them these days are a little bit more mediocre. This is going to be their vetiver-centric scent. Pretty much every big designer and niche brand has a vetiver scent. Just like a lot of brands have their own iris scent, their own blue fragrance, their own oud scent. Vetiver was kind of a trendy note at one point as well, and this is the one for John Varvatos. Now make no mistake, John Varvatos has used vetiver in their fragrances before. I'm not saying that they haven't, but this is going to be one that is primarily dominant using that note of vetiver. It's a really nice, soapy, clean vetiver with a bitter orange and some musk, some other cedar wood and things like that going on in here as well. But vetiver is at the forefront, giving it a nice, clean, masculine, and classy smell. And even though it's a vetiver scent, that doesn't mean that it smells exactly like some of the other popular ones out there. Tom Ford Grey Vetiver, Guerlain Vetiver, Roja Vetiver, and so on. This one really kind of does its own thing, and that's thanks to the fact that they're kind of nodding back to the original Artisan DNA, the bitter orange and the pepper, the Sichuan pepper that's in here, things like that. You know, that goes back to what this line is built on at the end of the day, and that in and of itself is kind of unique, so that kind of ties into this and gives it a little edge to make it stand out up against a lot of those other vetiver scents out there. This is still pretty new, and I would expect that it's going to stay around for a while, but I don't think it'll live forever. I think at some point, just like some of their other great releases, Dark Rebel Rider, and many more, this will meet its demise at some point. So I definitely want to stash away a few backup bottles of this just to have on hand. Next up, we have Narciso Rodriguez Blue Noir Parfum. So this is going to be their iris flanker. Very well done. So it has tonka bean, sandalwood, and cypress along with the iris. And the cypress ties it back into this DNA, kind of like what we were talking about with the John Varvatos. You know, if the brands are smart and they're doing things right, their flankers kind of tie back in one way or another. And this line is built around the cypress and the woods and the musk as well, which is in here too. It's just a lot of these are woody and clean smelling. This one still has that in the base, you know, in the background, but that iris does come through to give it a sweet, kind of slightly creamy smell also, which is really nice and really welcomed. You know, this is a great change of pace within this line where a lot of them are pretty similar. This one kind of deviates a little bit, giving it more of a nighttime appeal, more of a fall and winter approach. I think this was a really smart, really well executed release. Definitely probably my favorite Blue Noir scent from the brand, and probably just one of my favorite fragrances from Narciso Rodriguez to begin with. They don't have a ton of offerings compared to a lot of these other brands, but this is a really good scent that's worth picking up, worth trying. I could see this one going for a little while. I don't know how long though. I mean, a lot of their other flankers have been out for a while still, and they haven't gone away yet, but they're not producing at the volume that these other brands are. They might be starting to ramp up though. Like we just got a new one this year, Vetiver Musk. So I don't know. Regardless, I'll get me an extra couple to keep on hand. Let's keep it moving with Halloween Man X, a really nice cheapie here. And by that I mean, you know, $35 to $40, somewhere around in there, which is kind of becoming the new cheapie price range given just how expensive everything else is these days. It's got coffee, whiskey, incense, tonka bean, whole bunch going on here, primarily very sweet, a little bit boozy, and not a ton of coffee. It might mislead you. It's there, but it's not as prominent as in some other coffee scents. So I wouldn't consider this to be a straight up coffee scent. It's kind of an addition to a lot of the tonka bean and a little splash of a boozy note as well. Ultimately, it's a very sweet, new style, trendy men's scent that does smell great and is phenomenal for fall and winter. This one's been around for a while, and I think it has a pretty long life ahead of it. I just don't get the feeling that this one's going to be discontinued anytime soon. Could be completely wrong, and I'm working 100% off of just assumptions and making a guess, you know, but this one is so cheap. It's still ranking pretty high on the best-selling lists on all of the main discounters. It's just, I think this one's going to be around for a while, but you never know. Let's keep it moving with Ralph Lauren Purple Label. This is so easy to forget about, guys. You know, Ralph Lauren, they're all about polo blue, polo red, polo green, and Ralph's Club, really. I mean, those are all expanding year by year pretty much. And, you know, why not do some flankers of this? What a beautiful scent. It really is great with a ton of character. This one has blackberry, sage, and oak moss. A really unique, masculine, fruity, mossy, green, aromatic scent. I mean, this stuff is incredible. And this one serves as inspiration for a few other scents out there. Like one that gets compared to it all the time is Bond No. 9 Bleecker Street, which came several years after the release of this one. And no, they're not exactly the same. Blackberry versus blueberry. They both have the oak moss, but there's some differences. Would definitely wager and say that inspiration might have been drawn, but still I wouldn't say that Bleecker is a clone of this and anything like that. But this one's still, to me, one of a kind, just super unique. Nice masculine green scent. Smells phenomenal. You know, give us a Purple Label parfum or an elixir or something, please. I mean, just keep this line alive and give the others a break a little bit. This has been out for so long at this point, I don't think it shows any signs of stopping. Retailers typically have it. Now, discounters don't always, and that's where you might get nervous. You see it sold out on a lot of discounters, you might think it's going away. That's just kind of typical of this one. Like, you could go buy it at retail right now. I think it's $135 or something at retail. But yeah, discounters, it's in and out. But it's always like that. So I don't know. I think this one isn't really going to be going anywhere anytime soon. I mean, this is kind of a flagship, in my opinion. Kind of a classic. They would be silly to just axe this one. Just continue to pump out the other stuff and discontinue those as you see fit. But leave Purple Label alone, unless you want to make flankers of it, and then keep this one too. But I don't think this is going anywhere. Next up, Issey Miyake Low Blue Dissy Eau Fresh. Another big name. You know, these just keep getting longer and longer. And this isn't even all that new. Like, this guy's been out for a while now. But to me, it's still a really solid, easily slept on scent. It's got rosemary, mint, bergamot, nice, bright, green, fresh, citrus aromatic. Not your typical summer scent, and that's what I love about it. Same with the original Low Blue Dissy Pour Homme, so the not Eau Fresh one. They're two super unique scents for this time of year that virtually nobody around you is going to be wearing. These are a great way to stand out. Between the two, take your pick. They're both great, they're both worth owning, and I'll go back and forth between the two depending on what I'm after. This one, no surprise, is a bit more fresh and bright, so for those really, really hot, humid days where it's just miserable outside, this might be the better option, or even not wearing anything at all, depending on the circumstances. But yeah, this is one that I'm not super confident in as far as longevity goes in the sense of production. So super easy to get a backup bottle for a low price. I'm going to do it. I don't see it lasting forever. That sucks. Brioni Eau de Parfum Intense. It's a really unique one in my opinion, guys, and I'm sure you've seen it, talked about it, caught quite a bit of hype. The Brioni line is also ever expanding pretty much by the year. We haven't had a new one released or launched or, you know, teased this year yet, but I kind of hope we get one, you know. I don't think they've produced a miss yet. This is the first flanker, the second release within the line, and it's got apple, orange, oud, some patchouli. It smells really nice. A fruity sweetness and a smokiness with a little bit of a Middle Eastern touch in there. It smells super unique. Eclat, Eau de Parfum, the original, Eau de Parfum, Essentiel, they're all really good, and I think they're going to continue to stay on that streak, hopefully, because they haven't produced anything bad yet. And as far as this one sticking around, I don't see any reason why it wouldn't right now. The line is young. They've been putting them out every year. I think it's too early to start axing the old ones, because this will be considered an old one pretty quick if they're going to put a new one out every year. So I don't see that happening yet. I think we've got a good while for this. Again, it's still pretty new, no worries there. But that being said, it is one that I'm going to continue to enjoy for years to come, and if it ever comes down to it, I will get another bottle at some point. So we're going to go for a niche fragrance yet, the only one that made it in this video. I've got many options, many ones to choose from. I have a ton of amazing niche fragrances that I absolutely love, but I try to throttle that because they're expensive. But this is one that I had to sneak in here. I couldn't help myself. It is Kilian Apple Brandy. This was an absolute mind blower when I first tried it via a sample years and years ago. Like 100% mind blown. Had no idea anything like this could exist in the form of a cologne. Like truly, this was something nothing short of incredible. Has oak, vanilla, cedarwood, and of course, apple, and also a boozy note. But really that brandy or boozy note or alcohol smell is coming to me from the oak. This smells like alcohol bourbon that's been aged in oak barrels with apple on top. It is just so vibrant, so realistic, so sexy and just mysterious, and I don't know, again, there's just something that's remarkable about this. It's expensive. A blind buy might be, risking it, but if you can sample this in one way or another, please do. It is incredible, and trust me, I will not go without this. I'll do whatever it takes. You can buy refills from Kilian, which is really cool, instead of buying another full presentation. That's a great way to refill or to stock up on. I also went out and bought Kilian single malt, which is super hard to find and been discontinued for a while, but is also pretty close to this. So I've got that one as well. I love this smell. Great stuff. Last up for this video, switching back to a designer, which is going to be in that more, affordable range here. Also kind of sticking with more of a fall and winter scent though. It's Bvlgari Man in black. So to me, it's kind of just like the grown-up version of Spice Bomb Eau de Toilette. And I've said that before, and to me, that still is the easiest and most straightforward way to describe this one, because most people know what Spice Bomb Eau de Toilette smells like. It was a victim of its own success in terms of it got so popular that now people don't like it anymore, but the marketing, the scent, everything about it was on point, to the point that it just took off and everybody wanted it. So if you're familiar with how that smells, which you probably are, simply just imagine that, but with a grown-up twist. Some leather thrown in and an alcohol accord. And here you land with Bvlgari Man in black. It's a really, really smart release. You can tell they were strategic with this one. They knew what they were doing. It's a great upscale evening out scent that I love. They released a new parfum. I haven't tried it yet. Haven't been able to pull the trigger because it's expensive, and from what I've seen so far, it seems like people are not really saying it's all that good. So at this point, haven't gotten it yet. I will at some point. I'm at this point waiting for it to hit discounters. I'm being cheap about it. And so once it hits discounters and I end up picking it up, then I'll kind of talk about it and see what it's like. But for the time being, I'm still perfectly content with the original. It's a great scent. Alrighty guys, that's going to do it for me. Some fantastic fragrances that I will continue to buy until they just stop making them. I will link all these down below because at this point you can purchase these right now, so it's nothing to worry about yet. For a lot of them, might not be anything to worry about for a while, but maybe for a couple of these, you just never know what's going to happen. I've also got a mailing list and texting list you can sign up to, which I will notify you when brand new releases hit discounters below retail, and also when rare and discontinued, hard to find fragrances come into stock as well. I'm talking stuff that has been discontinued for years that just might randomly pop up, stuff that people are really wanting to get, like Armani Code Parfum, Armani Code Absolu, Armani Code Profumo, La Nuit de l'Homme Bleue Electrique, the One Luminous Night, and so on. That's all stuff that people want to get, and so when it comes up, I let you know. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.